Tonight, there's some new questions about whether that deadly shooting in Parkland could have been prevented. We know that 17 people, students, teachers, died in the attack, 14 others injured.
And now the FBI is admitting it failed to investigating a tip in January saying the accused gunman, Nicholas Cruz, may have been plotting a school shooting. Now here's a timeline of events. A person close to Cruz called the FBI's public tip line saying Cruz was acting erratically, owned a gun, and was making disturbing posts on social media. Now the tipster said they were concerned he could attack a school.
That call was made January 5th, just 40 days before those 17 people were killed in Parkland. Today, the FBI admitted protocol was not followed. The information was not sent to its field office in Miami, and no further investigation was conducted.
And so today, Florida Senator Marco Rubio commented on the FBI's failure. And now the senator is calling for the FBI director to actually step down. Rubio said in a statement today, quote, "It is inexcusable that the FBI failed to follow protocols and informed the Miami field office that people close to the Parkland, Florida shooter warned the Bureau over a month ago of his desire to kill, his mental state, and erratic behavior."
The fact that the FBI is investigating this failure is not enough. Both the House and Senate need to immediately initiate their own investigations into the FBI's protocols for ensuring tips from the public about potential killers are followed through. So once again, that's a comment from Senator Marco Rubio. We'll have Governor Scott's response on First Coast News at 5:30.
But right now, let's kick off our team coverage from South Florida this evening. Our reporters Hani Rodriguez and Bethany Anderson and First Coast News anchor Heather Crawford are all in Parkland, Florida. Let's begin with Heather, live now with the very latest. Heather?
Jeannie, all day long, people have been coming here to the amphitheater, placing flowers and notes and lighting candles on a stage full of 17 angels standing right there. It's been a very emotional scene again today out here. Right behind me in the field are 17 crosses. People have been coming here just to reflect and to remember those 17 lives lost. Now, also in Parkland today was Senator Bill Nelson. I had a chance to talk to him, and he told me, you know, every time we have one of these mass shootings, one of these massacres, a few days after, it's business as usual. And he, as well as many of the students I spoke here today, say they hope that this is the changing point.
We see it happen over and over again. What are you going to do to stop these shootings?
Well, we're going to try again. But you're not going to get the successful passage of legislation on these common sense things until the American people, and in this case, the people of Florida, say enough is enough.
We're kids just like all over the world who want to learn, who take for granted our education, who go to school assuming that we're going to come back home. Something needs to be done, and quick, because it's just a matter of time.
And that student you just heard from, she was at the school during the shooting. She told me when the shots started, when she started hearing them, she ran all the way home and never looked back. Yesterday was her 17th birthday. Instead of celebrating, she's mourning the loss of 17 people who lost their lives at her school. You're going to hear more from her tonight on First Coast News at 5:30. You know, today we've learned that this mass shooting really has had such a far reach, far beyond the United States. In fact, First Coast News' Bethany Anderson spoke to a family today. They moved here recently from the United Kingdom, and the son who goes to that school where the shooting happened has been flooded with calls and emails from his friends and loved ones in London. Bethany continues our team coverage now.
And we're just learning today really the details down to the minute of where students walked, what buildings they escaped into. And we've also learned that not everybody inside that high school was from here. We've talked to a family that's actually from the UK. They moved here back in 2009. And they say they just can't believe what happened. They're upset, but also they want their community to remain strong. Take a listen.
What they saw people being shot, they saw dead bodies, their friends have been killed. I completely understand. All I would say is it is a wonderful school, it's a wonderful community, and if they can do it, then I would urge them to do it. I would urge them to stay. It's been wonderful for my son, he's had a great time at this school, great teachers, everything is wonderful about it. Can they pull it all back together? I sincerely hope they can, I really hope they can.
I think since it's happened, the outflow of support from especially alumni has been massive. People, obviously, I'm now a senior, and people who I've known over the last few years have been sending me messages. And I went on my Instagram last night, and I scrolled down, and obviously I mostly know seniors and juniors, but I know for us, we've been here 2.5 to 3.5 years, and this is our home. And if madmen think they can come in and force us out, they have another thing coming.
That father and son just so grateful that they still have each other. Now, that student, he's actually a senior, and he tells me that next year on the anniversary, he is going to come back here to show that, number one, he is not afraid and he does support his community. And also, he wants to be here with his friends and his families and his teachers to show just how far they've come. Reporting in Coral Springs, Bethany Anderson, First Coast News, on your side.
Bethany, thank you. You know, everyone here in this tight-knit community knew someone or has some connection to this mass shooting at the high school. So many kids asking why, trying to make sense of it. But it's not just the kids, as you heard from Bethany, it's also the parents. So many parents last night and tonight just hugging their kids even more tight than they usually do. First Coast News' Hani Rodriguez continues our team coverage. And Hani, I know you had a chance to talk to some parents as well today.
That's right, Heather. I spoke to a dad who says he's got a mixture of feelings of both pain and relief because his son is safe. There are 17 crosses right behind me for those victims, and he tells me his son could have been one of those. He says the shooter was just 10 minutes away. He said his son went to the restroom and then was able to just minutes before walk into his classroom and lock the door. And that was the first class the shooter tried to go into to shoot, and then it started. Take a listen.
He told me I should have died, but I know God saved me. I know God protected me. That's his heart. So I'm very, secure in his confidence with God. That's the only reason I'm okay. We're okay. But I know that's an exception because he's the one comforting a lot of kids in his own age. He lost a friend.
And that friend that he's talking about is his beloved coach, Daniel. The student plays soccer at Douglas High School. Again, he's been trying to comfort his friends and get through this very, very tough times. Heather, back to you.
Hani, thank you very much. A lot of students, they're very, very sad. They're also mad. They want change. They want action. They want to make sure something that happened at their high school never happens at another high school again. Coming up tonight at 5:30 and 6, you're going to hear more from students here in this community. We're also going to have more from Senator Bill Nelson on what he says it's going to take to get change and to get action so things like this don't happen again. That is the latest from Parkland. I'm Heather Crawford, First Coast News, on your side.